Hey, Shalom Akim, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect. And it was in the gospel, broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just a quick lesson through the Spirit. I found this quote interesting by this devil, Henry Alfred Kissinger. Okay, which was the former Secretary of State. He served in office from like 73 to 77, I believe, which is a total devil. Okay, everybody that knows Henry Kissinger, George Soros, Gates, these particular lower level luminaries, nonetheless luminaries, which means enlightened ones. This is their plan for global population, like doing the WF or the WEF or the WEF forum that they had last week. Allegedly, one of the spokesmen came out and basically stated by 2023, basically 50% of humanity was supposed to disintegrate. But turns out the internet or whatever, they twisted it and made it seem like they was going to allegedly have people to afford their particular medicines for 50% of the people or the population on the planet Earth to be able to afford their medicines in order to sustain health, which we know that their medicines are nothing but chemical based. Okay, poisons, if I may add, which is not beneficial to the body. So that's not far-fetched, that 50% of humanity dropping dead, because we're going to read this quote from Kissinger, because we stated that the death toll in Babylon itself is going to be just like out of the norm, because every day you got people dropping dead from shit. Now we're not saying that 50% of the population is going to drop this year, and that's not what we're saying, but nonetheless, man, a lot of people are dying. They counted since the year began 16,000, and that was like 2 weeks ago. So that can quadruple by now because people are dealing with the Jabba juice. So anyway, it says Kissinger quote from a speech to the WHO councils of February 25th, 2009, meaning that they had this thing already mapped out. It was just a matter of it playing out, and you got what they call Hegelian dialectics, which is pressure from above, pressure from beneath. And it says that this is a quote from this devil, and it says, once the herd accepts the mandatory, it's game over. And which particular juice were they talking about? The C19, okay, the madness that they perpetuated 2 years ago. All right, they said that it's game over. It says they will accept anything forcible and organ such and such for the greater good, and for the greater good is a quote, okay, because that's a quote unquote. This is our so-called plan, but we're not really doing this for the greater good, but we're doing it because we're a bunch of psychopaths and we're hell-bent on destroying the human race. We hate the Most High, okay, and we really want to destroy his people, because the majority of the people on the planet Earth really are the Israelites, okay, because the Most High said, though we were few in number, he chose us, but we was going to be as the sand of the sea. So you have a lot of Israelites on the planet Earth, and these elitists, they know that. All right, and it says here they will accept anything for the greater good. We can genetically modify children and sterilize them. And if you watch that show called what's called Utopia, they actually canceled the second season because the first season got so much praise and it's exposed so much of the elites to the point they had to cancel it. And if they do make a second season, I'm guaranteeing you it would deviate from the direction of the first season. They will go into some shit that ain't even got nothing to do with what's going on, to pretty much deviate people's focus. But it says we could sterilize them. And then when you watch that show Utopia, that lady, she basically broke it down and stated that, well, this is what we're gonna do, this is the X, Y, and Z to do such and such and such and such. And I advise you, brothers and sisters, to watch the show to know what it's talking about, because I don't want to speak on it too openly. It says, for the greater good, control sheep minds and you control the herd, and the herd is the majority of the people. Okay, it says such and such stands to make billions, because we notice that every falsifier out there, and I say it that way, every falsifier, because that's what DOCTOR means, to falsify or to forge. Every forger out there, they got an incentive based on how many cups of juice you drink. This is why they was pushing it so hard, because they was getting incentives off that, and the hospital was raking in billions of dollars on top of these particular incentive-based juice drinks. And it says, stand to make billions, and many of you in this room are investors. Said it's a big win-win. We thin out the herd, and the herd pays us for extermination services. And there you go. They want to depopulate, man. And that's what it boils down to for all you people that say that we're conspiracy nuts. Well, it looks like the conspiracy theorists is a win, okay? According to you people putting your foot in your mouths, man. So this is a little history on this devil. And if you look at him, he looks like a sick, twisted weirdo, a perverto, okay? A bizarro looking dude, man. Okay, it says he served in office. He's the 56th United States Secretary of State. Hold on, brother. Real quick. Shit. Hold up real quick. Salakia for all the noise. I was trying to do this show. Fucking co-worker walked in. But anyway, it says he's the 56th United States Secretary of State. And he served in office from 1973 to 1977, which is roughly 5 years, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 years. Okay, so he was under President Nixon and Gerald Ford, which was the vice president at that time. A bunch of damn devils. All right. It's stated that Heinz, which his name is Heinz, which is German. It says Alfred Kissinger was born May 27th. Is a German-born American politician, diplomat, a geopolitical consultant who served as the United States Secretary of State and National Security Advisor under the presidential administration of Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. It says, Jewish refugee who fled Nazi Germany, of course. Makes all the sense that he would be an Amalekite, right? With this type of plan for global annihilation. These people are not the people of the Lord, man. Okay, the people of the Lord did not look like this, nor did they have that mindset. Okay, so that's fucking bullshit. All right, they're not the people of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and never will be. Okay, and on top of that, where in the Bible that tells you that the Jewish people was gonna be on top at the end of all things, when in fact the scriptures tell us our last captivity was gonna be under the Edomites, which is these people. You see, but it says a Jewish refugee who fled Germany with his family in 1938. How ironic, right? It says Kissinger excelled academically, receiving his BA degree summa cum laude from Harvard College in 1950 under William Yandell Elliott. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it there for the most part because for the simple fact he went to Harvard, that shows you right there that he's juiced in, because those colleges like Harvard, Yale University, fucking Yale, Harvard, Spelman, those particular top universities, they breed high-level witches and masons, man. Because a lot of times, their fathers or their families send them to what they call prep school to prep them to run the world. They don't go to ordinary schools like we go to. Oh, shit. Hold on, man. Damn. Hey. They don't go to ordinary schools like we do. All right, Slovakia. Oh, fucking noise, man. My bad, brothers. They don't go to ordinary schools or public schools like we do. Okay, they don't go to schools like they go to prep schools to prep them to run the world. But anyway, a couple of precepts, man. Let me get to the scriptures because I know I've been kind of ranting a little bit trying to get this information out. But let's read the scriptures. This is the book of Psalms 52, and I'm gonna start at verses. Let's start at verses 2. It says, "Thy tongue devises mischiefs, like a sharp razor working deceitfully." Okay, now when you go and you read these people in the news, and they come on with their interviews and they speaking nice to the public, they're not telling you about this particular agenda. Okay, they're not speaking on these things. They're telling you basically they're philanthropists, they for world peace and all this other shit, but behind the scenes they're basically trying to destroy, because that's in this man's nature, because the scriptures say that this man was going to rule by the sword, and by the sword thou shalt live. Okay, and part of his plan for and I'm gonna say it a certain way, getting rid of people is part of the sword. You see, I mean, it reads here, it says, "Like tongue devises mischiefs, like a sharp razor working deceitfully." Okay, and that's the point. Deceit, witchcraft, and the sword is all part of their game. It says, "Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness." It says, "Thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue." And it's talking about you, even though it's going into Saul, but you can compare this to the Edomites too, because who's in power now? And you have to understand that scriptures are manifold too prophetically. So scriptures that apply for old or for time in the past, like Paul said, the things that are written in times past are written for our learning today. So we take these examples and we learn from them. Okay. And it says, and the Most High shall likewise destroy thee forever, and he should take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living, man. Okay. So, hey, Yahweh Shai is going to destroy these devils because of the wickedness, because of the hatred, because of the injustices they've done to his people. You know? And it says here, the righteous also shall see and fear and shall laugh at him, right? Because when they go down, there's going to be a rejoiceful time. Because through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, hey, these devils have been in rulership for a long time. And they're polluting the earth, okay? And it's getting worse. Like this shit, man. He just said it here. He says, many of you in this room are investors. It's a big win-win. We thin out the herd, and the herd pays us for extermination services. And you do the math on that. And this is from this devil here, Henry S. Kissinger, man, which I'm not even sure if I can mention his name. But regardless, he has a lot of hatred for Jake. He don't like niggas. And I'm going to tell you that right now. All right? And they have a long history on this guy. But you notice they would never put what he just stated in this particular document because this is public information here. You know, they're speaking good of this devil, but in fact, he's nothing but the devil, one of many devils. All right. So this is the book of Psalms 53, and I'm going to start at verses 3. It says, every one of them is gone back, and they are altogether become filthy, and there is none that doeth good, no, not one. But have the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread? They have not called upon the Most High. Okay, and that's the point. Okay, it says they eating up the children of Israel. They're shooting at us, man. Okay, they're taking their inventions and they're attributing to Jake, you know, and they're destroying our people from within. And the fact that Jake don't even know this is even all the worse, because through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, hey, we've been warning our people, but yet they would never look at this guy and say, oh, he's the bad guy. You guys are making that up. Y'all tripping. You know? So, Psalms 55, and I'm going to start at 2. And this is a prayer from David. And this is the spirit we should be coming in. It says, attend unto me and hear me. I mourn in my complaint and make a noise. Because the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked. And this is oppressive, man. This is the reason why they're coming out with these particular shows. You know, why they're having these WEF summits and meetings, you know, out there in, Davos, which means the son of David, in Switzerland. And a lot of the elites, like the Rothschilds, I believe they are based out of Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken, or at least they have residence there. But nonetheless, man, these are people that has taken over the world and then some. And they're the reasons why we having world wars. Like right now, World War III, that's inevitable. Like we're already in it. But sooner than later, World War III is going to become nuclear. Okay? And I'm betting knowing when this economy collapses, when everything falls to shit and people start to revolt, and the other allies, they have their problems with the West, they're going to shoot missiles on this place. Because basically, man, NATO, they're in a proxy war, or they're in a war now, and their ally or partnerships are pretty much scattered. Okay, they're looking at America like, what are you doing? And America is retaliating, man, going ahead of the beck and call, you know. And it says here, because the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked, for they cast iniquity upon me, and wrath they hate me, man. Okay, and they do hate us. Right? Because it's in their spirit to do so. So for all you Jakes out there that don't see the white man as the devil, then that's going to be to your destruction and to your demise, because, hey, through the spirit, hey, Esau is coming for all our people. Okay, he's already declared war on us. All right, Psalms 58 and 2, it says, yea, in your heart you work wickedness, and you weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. Okay, and look at what they're doing in the earth. This is why they're having riots all over the place. This is why, hey, down in Peru, they're setting Capitol buildings on fire, riots and so forth. Presidents are resigning because of their, you know, people are overthrowing the government. And this is not just in Peru, it's in all over the place, you know, in different parts of the world, France, Greece, you know, parts of Iran, rioting and so forth. People are fed up with the nonsense. They're fed up with the oppression of the West. And these people know that America is behind it. Okay, they set up public leaders and they set them up in their stead. And then they destabilize the country by setting up democracy, changing the rules, the regulations, the way that people live, the freedoms that people have. And they come in and they put people under this tyrannical way of life, which is called democracy, by setting up homosexuals, putting women over them. All right, taxing under the debt, the dollar being a primary source of income, the central bank, because you better believe if you're dealing with the US dollar, there's a central bank somewhere near. And I'll leave it at that. And it says, and the wicked are estranged as the womb, from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies, because it's in Esau's nature to be averse to the ways of the Most High. Okay, he's totally perverse to the ways of the Lord. He can't do good because he's not programmed to do good. And it says, and their poison is like the poison of a serpent, and they are like the deaf adder that stoppeth their ear, because this information you bring it out, but yet they play the dumb role. Like when we at camp and we calling these Edomites out, sometimes they walk by like they don't even hear us. Why? Because they don't want to acknowledge their offenses. Like down in Florida, I believe DeSantis is taking out a curriculum of African American studies. Why? Because you get what they call critical race theory, which is critical race fact or history, when the fact that we're bringing out all this information about Red Summer, zoning restrictions, 1919. You had an uprising around the country in Chicago, Tulsa, Oklahoma. You had Black Wall Streets all over America, basically. And what happened was the governments or the militias at that time, just like the whole protesters in BLM and all that shit, how they rolled on these particular environments, they did the same thing back then. When Jake was prospering, Black Wall Street, you had the Magnificent Mile, the Gold Coast, now Bronzeville area, which was pretty much owned by Jake's living in mansions in Chicago. And what happened? They got overthrown and they was killed off by Esau, man. And this happened all over the country. It just wasn't Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was all throughout the country. Kansas City, Chicago, New York. Because Jake was prospering, man. All right. And when we bring up this information on Esau, he tries to hide it. This is the reason why he's taking these studies out of the books. Called a critical race theory, but there's no such thing. That it's not a theory, it's a fact. A theory is something you speculate on, or that you have some type of hypothesis. I theorize that the moon can be this way and that way, when the fact the moon is what the moon is because the Most High created it, for a better example. But it says their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stop at her ear, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. So break their teeth, which is the strength, O power, and break in their mouth, and break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Lord, and let them melt away his waters, which run continually, which bended his bow to shoot arrows, and let them be cut in pieces, man. Because the arrows, the nuclear missiles, also another way of Lord attacking them is through this truth. When it says shoot the arrows and their own tongue shall fall upon their head, that's going into this truth, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as well, because the truth came before the missiles, but nonetheless, the missiles are going to finish the job. All right, and I got one more precept because this guy's getting ready to come back in here. This is the book of Isaiah 14 and 4. It says, take thou that thou should take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? All right, talking about America and mainly the empires of the West. It says, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepters of the rulers, but he who smote the people in wrath with the continual stroke, he that rooted the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindered. And this is who it's talking about. Not just him per se, but the collective, their whole entire nation, from the greatest to the least, man. Every last one of them are going into captivity under us. And we're going to put them in slavery. It says the whole earth is at rest and is quiet, and they break forth into singing. But yea, let the fir trees rejoice, and the cedars of Lebanon say, since thou art laid down, no fellow has come up against us, man. So when these devils go down, it's going to be a beautiful time, man. It's going to be peace on earth, finally. And it says, and hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming, and has stirred up the dead for thee, even as all the chief ones of the earth. It have raised up from the thrones all the kings of the nations. Why? Because, they're going to come against you in this third world war. All right. But anyway, I'm going to end it there, brothers, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And with that, shalom and a barbabal. Shalom.